So on this lesson, we are going to learn about what is Vlookup formula. So as we are starting, Vlookup stands for a vertical lookup system. The Vlookup formula in Excel is a tool for looking up a piece of information in a table or data set and extract some corresponding data information. So in simple terms, the Vlookup function says the following to Excel. Look for the piece of information in the data set, a table, and tell me some corresponding information about it. So you have a table, and on that table, it will send you a corresponding information to that cell. So over here, you can see that we have Vlookup formula, which is Vlookup, and we are looking up for a value, and then the table array, and then we have column index number, which we have to set, which is 1 2 3 4, such like that, and then the range, on the which range we want to see the lookup from. So this is how this formula will work, and on our upcoming lessons we're gonna implement these formulas. So the Vlookup function uses the following argument. So lookup value required argument, which is lookup value, specify the value that we want to look up in the first column of a table, and then table array. The table array is the data array that is to be searched. So there is the data, and on this data array we are going to be searching for the table array. The Vlookup function searches in the leftmost column of the array. So after that we have column index number, which is an integrate, specify the column number of the supply table array that you want to return a value from. And then we have on the formula H range lookup. This function should return in the event that is it does not find an exact match on the lookup value. So the argument can be set as true or false, which means true approximate match, that is, if an exact match is not found, use the closest match between the lookup value. So that is approximate match. And the false, which we use, is exact match. That is, if an exact match is not found, then the return an error. So true and false also used as 0 and 1. So how to use Vlookup in Excel? First, we have to organize the data and then tell the function that what to look up, then tell the function where to look up, and tell Excel what column to output the data from, and exact or approximate match. So this is how you can use Vlookup in Excel. So then we have Hlookup formula. What is Hlookup formula? So Hlookup stands for horizontal lookup and can be used to retrieve information from a table by searching a row for the matching data and output from corresponding columns. While Vlookup searches for the value in column, Hlookup search for the value in the row. So Vlookup search in columns and Hlookup search in rows. So that's the difference, main difference. So we have the Hlookup formula over here, which is Hlookup value to lookup, table array, and row number. So Vlookup, we have looked for column index number. Now we are looking for row numbers. So important point to keep in mind about Hlookup, it is case sensitive lookup. So it will contain, for example, if it's written TIM, TIM, and if we are having lowercase as the same time, we cannot use it, right? So it is case sensitive. The lookup value should be topmost row of the table array. So the lookup value need to be the topmost portion of the table array. When we are using Hlookup, if we need to look somewhere else, then we must use another Excel formula. And Hlookup supports wildcard character as stars and this symbol in the lookup value argument. Only if lookup value is text #NA error, it would be written by Hlookup if range lookup is false. So the range that we have selected, if it's false, it will show us /NA error. So there is no value on it. And the Hlookup function is usable to find the lookup value in the given range. We can assemble the function in if error and display our own message. For example, if error Hlookup the formula, is no value found, right? So if the row index number is greater than less than 1, Hlookup will return value error. If row index number is greater than number of column in the table array, then it will give /ref error. So remember, Hlookup function in Excel can return only one value. This would be the first value in the match, the lookup value. What if there are few identical records in the table? In that scenario, it is advisable to remove them or create a pivot table and group them. The array formula can then be used on the pivot table to extract all duplicate values that are present in the lookup range. So there are the third formula, which is Xlookup. The Hlookup function is a modern and flexible replacement for older functions like Vlookup, Xlookup, and Lookup. Xlookup support approximate and exact match, wildcard for portrayal match, and lookup in vertical and horizontal range. The Vlookup function is one of the most popular Excel function and is widely used in financial modeling. Xlookup is meant to address some of Vlookup limitations, such as inability to search to the left of the Hlookup array. So Xlookup formula, which is Hlookup and the lookup value, lookup array, and return array. It is that simple. So Hlookup arguments it is a case sensitive lookup system. It also consider, for example, as we have known what is case sensitive. So for example, it is written as uppercase team and lowercase team as the same. So it is case sensitive lookup. The lookup value should be the topmost row of the table array. When we are using Hlookup, if we need to look somewhere else, then we must use another Excel formula. So Hlookup arguments, which are lookup, the lookup value, lookup array, the array or range to search from, return array, the array or range to return the lookup system. Not found means value to return if no match found. Match mode optional 0 is equal to exact match, or we can use -1 is equal to exact match or next smallest. 1 is equal is exact match or next. Then we have large comma 2 is a wildcard match, and then search mode optional. 1 is equal to search from the list, -1 is search from last, 2 is equal binary search ascending, -2 is binary search descending, which we gonna learn from our examples Excel table that we have already placed on this course. So these are the formulas and the lookup front that we can use. So these are the three formula: Vlookup, Hlookup, and Xlookup, and these are the fundamental understanding how this work and what are their arguments. But we gonna practice it on our upcoming videos where we will be doing it on Excel sheet and see how it works, how we can use them on our Excel file. So hope you have understood how to do that. Let's move to our next lesson. See you on the next video. On this lesson, we will discuss about type of error that we have. So here are the error names and the meaning of this error, which we will face while we go deeper on those Excel sheet and work with it. So let's just get an idea what is those error names and what does it mean. So the first one we have is hash value, which refer a wrong type of cell. So when you're referring a wrong type of cell, this error will come, hash value. Then we have hash divide /0. So this is a formula, has a 0 as a denominator. So this formula will have some relation between 0 and have some issues with having those denominators. And then we have hash name. So it is referring a wrong cell name or misspelled function. So as you know, Excel few function have so referring a wrong cell name or misspelled function. So there are some function on which you misspell it. So that's why it's not working. That time it will show you hash name. Then we have hash na, which is lookup formula which find no result. On lookup formulas, when they doesn't find any result, it will show you hash na, which means there is nothing or there is no result. Then we have hash ref, which is the linked cell has been deleted or invalid. So on your Excel sheet, you have used that formula on some cell which is deleted or there is no validation on it. That time you will find this kind of error. Then you have hash 3 hash, which is formatted as number, but it is too large to be displayed date and time that are negative or too large. So when you have so much of numbers on a cell, that time you'll find this symbol, and very easily you can solve that. Then you have hash null, which is incorrect separate cell reference. So when you are using cells reference, which will be incorrect, that you can see. Then you have hash num. The number inserted is too large for Excel to display. So hash num is when you have infinity of number which Excel cannot display you. That time you will find this kind of error name. So as we have discussed, when we go much deeper on the lesson, we will find how we can use it and how we can solve it, and whenever it comes I will let you know. So hope you have understood. Let's move on and let's go to our next lesson. On this lesson we are going to learn how to trace percent dependent and remove arrow in Excel. So over here you can see that we have table. On this table I have used some formula to total them up, which we're gonna learn soon, and most of you I believe already know how you can use them. Then I have used our average formula, and then minimum and maximum formula you can see over here, right? So now I want to see how this works. So you might get our table. On the table somebody have worked and used so many formulas. So how can you trace that which formula is working where? Because you cannot see anything, you just seeing the result. For doing that we have to go to the formula option, and over on the formula option you will find formula auditing. So this is basically how you can find somebody else how they have used the formula. So over here let's go and write something as, let's plus it 45 plus 31 plus, after that I want to divide it by 12, right? Let's hit enter, and you can see that we have a result over here. So I have added all those subjects and divided it by the class, right? So now this is our total. So now we gonna use the trace percent. So trace percent is show arrows that indicate which cells affect the value of the current selection cell. So let's use it, and you can see that we have used all these cells to get this result. So if I change this to 0, you see that here are the changes, right? So let's do something else. Let's bring this English arrow down to 95. How to do that? Let's go and hit this one. Sorry, let's go and let's select this one, right, and hit enter. And now let's go and trace percent it. Click it and trace percent, and you can see that this arrow is showing that these all cells have been used to get this result. So this is how we can use trace percentage. Now we want to use dependent and dependent option. So over here you can see that we have this trace dependent option, which is show arrow that indicates which cells are affected by the value of the current selected cell. So now as we have used this one, before that let's learn about remove arrows. So over here you can see that you have a box over here, removal arrow, and if you click it the arrow will be gone. So that is the remove arrow option. So now let's do the trace dependent. So now as we have the result of trace precedent, which is indicate cell that affects the value, this value, but now let's see if this is changed, which all value will be changed. So let's click on the box and let's hit trace dependent, and you can see that if I change this one, this box will be changed. Also this total and average option will be affected. Let's try and change it 10, and you can see that this box or this cell and this cells, total cell, average cell, and this one have been changed. So let's make it 2, and let's see which all of the cell will be changed. So this is the work of trace independent. So let's go and remove the arrow. Now if you have a big Excel file and you want to see which formula they have used. Sometimes it happens like you have a colleague or somebody, they use a formula, you don't know which formula they have used, or they doesn't want to show you the formula. How can you get that? For doing that, you can simply click show formula, where you can press show formula. For example, on this total we have a formula, right? And if we click over here show formula, it will take us to a bigger screen. And over here, let me just make it a little bit bigger. And over here you can see that you can see the formulas on which all the most of the table have been used. So these are the formula it used over here. These formulas on this formula have been used. So similar way you can find out all the formulas that you have. So let's uncheck it and it will come back to that original form. Now we can use also evaluate formula. So what is evaluate formula? So over here we have a formula. Let's go and evaluate a formula. So on this evaluate formula, you can see that we have D5 plus D8 plus F4, F5 plus G5 and C5, which have been used. So we are evaluating which all the formula have been used over here. And if you click on evaluate, you can see that the first option that we have was 45. So this was the first one, right? And D8. So let's go. D8 is, let's see, 95, right? And then we have F5, and we have 5, which is 45, and 45 plus G5, right? Let's evaluate. And then we have multiply with C5, which is 2. Let's evaluate, and which is 2. And through this way you can evaluate all of your formulas and find out the original result through this. So this is how you can very easily find out all your trace precedents, trace dependent and evaluate formulas on your Excel sheet. Hope this will give you a good value on working on a big Excel sheet, and you can very easily find out which formula you're using. So hope to see you on the next lesson. So for this lesson of understanding how fundamental works in Excel, we are going to learn what is match function. Match is an Excel function used to locate the position of a lookup value in a row, column, or table. Match support approximate and exact matching and wildcards for partial matches. Often match is combined with the index function to retrieve a value at a match position. So match is combined with index function and it will retrieve a value at the match position itself. So as you can see, we have the match formula written over here. Match is lookup value and the lookup array and then match type. So let's get the argument of this match formula. So first we have the lookup value, the value to match in lookup array. All right, and then we have lookup array, the range of cell which we are using from the table or the array reference, and the match type, which is optional. 1 is equal to exact or next smallest, 0 is equal to we want to find the exact match, -1 is exact or next large of the match value. So this is how this match formula works. We have gone through all the formulas and the fundamentals. Now let's go deep down to the Excel and let's find out more formulas and implement on our Excel file. See you on the next lesson, which are going to be very interesting and important for you. See you on the next video.
Hello friends, if you want to learn Excel formula and function, you're in the perfect place. This complete course will teach you all the enters and depth, practical and easily to follow tutorials. So friend, my name is Karim, founder of Weberal, and in this class, my partner with Martin, who is the Microsoft Excel expert. Martin will be explain lots of more out of the course. So awesome.
Welcome to our Excel formula and function course. I am Martin, your course co-instructor for this course, and in this course we're gonna discuss about Excel formulas, functions, and our goal is to make you an expert in Excel through these formulas and function. These formula and function are quite easy. We have covered this course all together in an easy form so that you can shine in Excel formula and functions, and you can do lots of cool stuff on this Excel. So Also, you will get web URL support and my support as well throughout learning this course. And if you're still struggling to decide whether you want to purchase this course, feel free to purchase this course, as you have 30-day money back guarantee if you don't like this course at all. But I believe you like this course because we have gathered all our knowledge that we have to make you understand how easy Microsoft Excel can be. So we want to help you out through learning this Microsoft Excel formula and function course. See you on the course, and our aim is to make you an expert in Excel. See you on the next lesson.
In this lesson, I will teach you what is index formula. The Excel index function returns the value at a given location in a range or array. You can use index to retrieve individual values or entries, row and columns. The match function is often used together with index to provide row and columns numbers. How can I write index functions? So here I show index formula. You can write equal index bracket array row number, then column number, and also area. Index argument array, a range of cells or an array constant. Row number, the row position in the reference or array. Column number, the column position in the reference or array. Area number, the range in reference that should be used. So easy to say, returns an item, a collection based on provided row and columns index. So if you need any kind of help, just let me know. I can help you. So see you on the next video.
On this lesson, we are going to learn about relative, absolute, and mixed cell reference. So as you can see that we have three tables on which we will learn what is relative reference, absolute reference, and mixed reference. So over here, you can see that we have name, salary, and mobile bill. So we want to total the numbers. So let's do it. Salary plus the mobile bill, right? And you can see the total number. So let's autofill it by dragging down to all the cells. So you can see very easily it have just added the mobile bill with the salary, right? So let's do this similar option on this absolute reference, but on this reference we will have 10% of increment. All right, so now let's do it. Let's select the cell, plus we want to select the mobile bill, and we want to multiply it by 10%, right? So over here you can see that we got 10% of increment, right? So let's drag it down as we have done for relative reference. And you can see there are few issues coming over here. This sales value are not valid. Why it happened? So it happened because the cell we have used for reference, this 10%, have gone down to our next cell. So you can see over here we have L5, which is this one, right? On the next one, you can see that it came to L6. So that means this cell have coming downwards. So how can we stop that? So over here we have this reference. So let's select it, and you can press F4, or you can use your $sign before and after this both letter, which will fix this cell. So let's hit enter, and let's clear them, and let's drag it down, and you will find the exact value now. So you can see that we have gotten the exact value, and the cell reference that we had have not changed or moved, right? So now let's see mixed cell reference. So we are gonna use mixed cell reference. So let's multiply it, right? 2 multiplied by 2 is equal 4, right? So now let's drag it, and let's drag it down, and you can see now again we got some weird values, right? So let's delete them, and what we can do, let's fix that cell. So which one we gonna fix? We're gonna fix these cells. So let's go and press F4, and let's hit enter, and now let's drag it down. our mixed cell reference have worked absolutely fine. So this way we can use relative, absolute, and mixed cell reference to our Excel sheet, and we can get absolute proper result. So hope you have understood how you can use reference, absolute reference, and referencing any cell, and how can you fix those tabs or cells on your Excel sheet. Hope you have understood. Let's move on to our next lesson. See you on our next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn how we can add 0 in Excel. So as you can see over here on the ID, if I write 024, 025, it is not showing, right? So sometimes it's a very big hassle for so many people. But how can you do that? So how can you do that? There is several ways. The first way is when you write 0, use single apostrophe and use 0. And you can see that you are able to find or add 0 before your any numbers, right? But what you can see that here is an error, which is number stored as text. It is have been stored as text. So if we convert it to number, it will go back to 24. So there is a formula known as rep, which is a repetition form. So the repetition would be 0 and the text or the time. This is our text or time. And over here you can see that, and after that we will be over here, we want to repeat 0 for once, and then we will add ampersand and use the ID that we have and hit OK. And you can see that we have 024 and so on. So here we have 025 because it's an text. Let's convert it to number. This way also you can use it, but this is not an appropriate way as well, because you will face some of the issue when you're using lots of formulas, right? So there are another way for doing that. You need to go to your format option, and on the format option, let's go to the format and go to custom. And on this custom, on the sample, if you use 0 and hit OK, let's use 024. It didn't work. So let's go back to our number option. Over here, let's go and go to custom and let's create a sample. The sample would be, so over here we have to type 1 2 3 0, then we'll get 1 0. If we then we add, it will be adding up. So I want to add only 1 0, so I use the type 3 0 and hit OK. And you can see that we have able to get the 0 before our IDs. So through this way, very easily you can add zeros in your Excel sheet for using 0 before a number. Hope you have understood how you can do that. See you on the next lesson.
Hello friends, in this lesson I will teach you difference between formulas and functions. A function is an expression which calculates the value of a cell. Functions are predefined formulas and are already available in Excel. A function is a predefined formula that performs calculations using a specific value in a particular order. All spreadsheet programs include common functions that can be used for quickly finding the sum, average, count, maximum value, and minimum value for a range of cells. In order to use function correctly, you will need to understand the different part of a function and how to create argument to calculate value and cell references. So, formulas. When a user types an equal sign in a cell, there are steering to create a formula. For example, equal A2 plus B2 plus C2. And functions, when a user type an equal sign followed by a predefined set of letters, a function begins to be implemented. When a user type an equal sign followed by a predefined set of letters, a function being to be implemented. So here I see how can write functions. For example, equal sum bracket a1 b2. So here show formula vs function. So if you need any kind of help, just let me know. I can help you. So see you on the next video.
So on this lesson, we will be learning about logical function of if function. So as you can see over here, we have a table on which we will be trying to find out if function, how it works and how can we use it on different scenario. So over here, you can see that we have a table for cell 1 and cell 2. So let's go and find out whether the cell 1 is greater than cell 2. And we will be getting the answer true or false. So for doing that, let's give and select F6 greater than G6 and let's hit enter. And the formula is telling it's true. So the cell 1 is greater than cell 2. So if we decrease the price over here, the answer would be false, right? So this is what if function does. So if function, how it works, let's go and see again. If, let's select it, and you can see that there will be a logical test. That logical test that we have done before was for whether cell 1 is greater than cell 2. That was the logical test. It happens between two functions or two cells, right? So now we want to find out whether the formula and the answer we want in 1 or 0. So for doing that, we have to select the logical test. So the logical test is F6 greater than G6, comma, and the value would be if it is greater 1 or 0 and let's close the bracket. And you can see that it is 0 because 25 is less than 45. Let's go and make it 85 again. And you can see that the answer for this became 1. So now let's find out how we can find pass or fail. So let's go and write the formula. If, and then the logical test would be this one. So now let's find out of this scenario whether cells 1 or cells 2. Let's change their name. Let's give Martin, and over here let's give Troy. All right, so over here we will be finding out pass or fail. So let's give is equal to if option, and then the logical test would be F6 is greater than G6, right? And then a comma and the value. So we would use double quotation over here for finding out pass or fail. So let's write pass, close the double quotation, comma, double quotation, fail, and close it with a bracket. And let's hit enter and see whether Martin got pass or Troy. So you can see that Martin have much more than Troy, so it is pass. So let's change it, and you can see that it automatically become fail, right? So through this way we can very easily use this pass and fail option. You might think about the paths that have came, it is upper and lowercase, but I want all the answers in uppercase. For doing that, we can use this upper formula as well. So let's write is equal to if, and then let's put a logical test. The logical test would be this one is greater than Troy, and then a comma, and we will be using this uppercase. So let's select the uppercase and we want to select it for pass. So let's go and select C10 box and then close the bracket, then a comma, and also again we want to use uppercase, and let's go and bring C9 as fail and close the bracket, and we will be able to see that the pass result that have been shown over here is uppercase. So through this uppercase function we can very easily make any result to come as uppercase. So now we want to find whether in yes or no. So we will be using the result as yes or no. So for doing that, you know already how to do that. We will be using if functions, and then we will use a logical test. The logical test basically is plus, minus, multiplication, greater than, lesser than. So let's see if 6 is greater than, whether it is greater than G6, then comma, and the value, if it is true, it will be double quotation as yes, yes. Let's give a comma, and if it's give a comma and double quotation again for no, and in the double quotation and a bracket, and you can see that the result have been shown as yes or no. So let's see whether it shows yes or no. So now let's find out and get a little bit trickier, right? So we will be using this both number. If Martin number is greater than Troy numbers, it will show me sum. All right, so let's select is equal to if option, and then let's give a logical test. It is it would be Martin number if it is greater than Troy's number, right? Then we will get this F6 plus G5 as a result. Get as a result, let's give a comma, and if the value is false we'll get 0, right? Let's close the bracket and hit enter. So yes, because my number is greater than Troy's, I get the actual number. So let's go and decrease this number as 15, and you can see that very quickly we have gotten a 0 that I have posted over there, right? So this is how we can very easily use if function. So over here you can see that the answer would be today or plus 10. So what is it? I want to find out whether the Martin's number is greater than Troy's number. If it's the exact number, I want to find the today's date, and if it is not exact number, I want today's date plus the date of 10. So let's go and do it. So over here I would write if, and then the logical test would be F6 is greater than G5, then comma, and let's give today, close the bracket, comma, today, close the bracket, and plus 10, and hit enter. And you can see that we have able to get a number, but this is not dead, right? And the formula have been set properly, and the number that you can see over here, it is also correct, but the format is not correct. So for doing that, we have to go to the home ribbon, and then we will go to the number option, and we will make it as short date. And you can see, because this number is greater than Troy's number, I got today's date. So let's go, and today's 20th, so if 10 days it will be 30. So let's make it 15, and you can see that date have been changed to 30. So through this way you can very easily use your if function to your document and data, and very easily you can calculate and you make a formula that will work for your Excel sheet. So hope you have understood these logical functions of if function that you might use it and make it work. So see you on the next lesson, where we will be learning about Nestedif function. See you on the next lesson. So on this lesson we will learn about logical function, on which we will be covering Nestedif function. So as you can see over here, we have a table. On this table you can see we have some students' name and their mark and result. So what is Nestedif function? The Nestedif function is a function that will be having multiple if function, whether it works or it will go to another if function. So as you have learned in if function that you can have only two options. So if this person pass or whether he will fail. But over here we have a scenario, something like a student is there. There are three options. As less than 40 they will fail, more than 40 they will pass, but more than 60 they will get distinctions. So for doing that we will be using this Nestedif function. So let's go and see how we can do that. So let's go and write the formula. So for getting this Nestedif formula, we will be using is equal to if, and then we will have the logical test, which is the mark. If it is greater than 60, comma, we will give them distinction, this, and then comma again. And after giving the comma, we want to start if once more, because we are nesting inside a if function. So over here the logical test would be mark, if it is greater than 40, comma, they will be passed, then a comma, or they will be failed, right? So let's write fail, and let's close the bracket. And we need to close the bracket twice because we have nested this if function inside this if function, right? So let's hit enter, and you can see very easily we have able to see that Martin's got distinction. Whether this is my name, still he got distinction, right? So let's try and drag it down, whether the function that we have written over here is proper or not. So you can see that when somebody is failed, they got less than 40%, they are showing as fail, and those who are between 40 to 59%, they are passed. So through this way, very easily you can create these logical functions, which is nested if function. Whenever you are using multiple if option, you can use this option. So this is a small example, but you can use this nested if function for a very big logical task as well. So hope you have understood how you can use this nested if function. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn about fixing errors with if error function. So how can we do that? So over here, you can see that we have this data type, and this is the result, right? But I want to find whether this data that have been displayed is working or the function is proper. For doing that, it is very simple. For doing that, we will be using is equal to if error, and then we will use the value. So let's consider web URL as the data value, and then we will use as is equal to, let's write error, and in with the quotation bracket and hit enter. And you can see that this is not an error because the web URL have been came over here properly. So this is the text option. Also we will be seeing the number option. So let's is equal to if error, and this is the number, comma, and let's write error. closing bracket and hit enter, and you can see that this is a number which have came over here properly as well. Let's just drag it down, and you can see that all the data that have been placed over here is correct, except the last one, which is the error for formula, because the data formula that we have used have no value. That's why it came error, right? So similar way, when you are using or you're creating a very big data, you're using a formula, but you cannot check them manually. So you can create a column and then you can use this formula so to find out the error, right? So this is how you can very easily fix your errors for your formulas and for your data as well. So I hope you can utilize this error function properly, and if you have any problem, just let me know so I can personally help you out. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about a logical function, which is AND function. So as you can see over here, I have already created a table where we will be using this AND function. So for this explanation, this is the smaller one on which we will learn how AND function works. Then we will understand how this criteria will add up to our next table. So over here you can see that we have mark as 100, and this is the criteria. It needs to be more than 0 or less than 100, and if it comes between this criteria, it will show us true or false. Let's go and do it. So let's use is equal to and after that we will be using this logic of mark 100, which need to be more than 0, comma mark, and then less than is equal to 100, and if it is more than is equal to 100, it will show true or false, and it is showing us true. So let's see if it works or not. So it is working properly. So if we make changes over here 150, you can see that the requirement have been changed, right? So it became false. If we make it 0.20, so if we make it minus 20, it is minus 2, it is false. If we make it 20, it will be true. So these criteria have been working. So now over here we have a criteria. So the first criteria was that it need to be more than 0. After that it need to be more than 40, more than 60, and if it less than 0 and less than 100, it will become invalid. If it's more than 60, it will become a distinction. If it's more than 40, it will become pass, and if it's more than 0, it will become fail, right? So I have already written the formula over here. Just let me explain you how I have done it. So over here we have created a if function. So if and if function is over here, and also and function. Over here we have selected the marks. So when the Martin mark is more than 0 and less than 40, it will become fail, right? After that, if Martin mark is more than 40 and less than 60, it will pass. Also if and Martin mark is 60 and more than 100, it will become distinction. And if Martin mark is less than 0 and more than 100, it will be invalid. So as Martin got 70, it became distinction. So let's change it to 0. It will show us fail, right? If we put it as 60, it will show us distinction. But if we show it 50, it will show us pass. And if we show it as 500, it will show invalid. Even if we give minus 2, it will show us invalid. So through this way, we can very easily use AND function and get all kind of criteria and add up more criteria to our sheet, and this will be very helpful when we are creating a very big Excel sheet and have more than one criteria in our formula. So hope you have understood how you can use AND function to your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we're gonna learn about using OR function in Excel. So as you can see over here, we have table. Here is the gender and the age. So now we will use OR function. So if it is male and his age is 65, it will be true. Or if it is female and it is 45, it will be false. Something like this. So for doing that, let's go and write the formula of OR is equal to OR. Let's select this OR, and the first logic would be the gender we select, and then comma is called double quotation, and let's write it male, close it with double quotation, and then let's give a comma, and then let's select the age. Right after selecting the age, let's greater than is equal to 60. It need to be 60, and let's close it, and let's hit enter, and you can see that yes, it is male and it is more than 65. So let's see how false works. So let's go and write OR, and then let's select it, and after selecting, the first logic would be male, comma, and then the logic is let's give male, and let's give a comma and select the age, then give a comma is greater than is equal to 60, greater than is equal to 60, and it is showing true, right? But what if we change these factors, right? Let's see, let's select this Jenny Sharon, let's click it over here, and the age would be this one, and you can see that when we are looking for Jenny Sharon, it is false because our formula is for the gender male and his age need to be more than 60. So let's go and change it to female, right? Let's make it female. Still it is coming false because it is female, it is true, but the second logic is it need to be more than 60. That's why it's false. So if we change it over here to 65, it will become true. If we make it 55, it will become false. So through this way, we can very easily use OR function to our Excel sheet. Hope you have understood how you can use OR function in Excel. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about using NOT function in Excel. So over here, you can see that we have two types of data, which is true and false. So how we can use this NOT function? So what happens in NOT function, the data that we have would be automatically changed to the opposite one. So as you can see, the first one is true option, it will become false, and the false option will become true. So for doing that, we can use NOT function, and then we will use the logic, or we will take the data as true, and we will just close it. And very easily you can see that we have NOT data which is false. So let's do for false once again, NOT, and we will select the logic and then close the bracket, and you can see that it is true. On this NOT option, we can use this NOT function inside if function as well, and very easily we can change the formulas to an opposite formula easily. So through this way, you can create NOT function in Excel very easily. So I hope you have understood how you can create this NOT function in your Excel sheet. Hope to see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about a small and large function. So there is a function called maximum and minimum, but they always find out the maximum number or the smallest number, but minimum number. But the small and large function will help you out to find out the smallest number on the sheet. So as you can see over here, I have few names and some of their cells number. So over here, I want to find the small cells numbers and the large cell number. So over here, let's go and try it, right? So I want to find the smallest number that somebody have earned, right? So for doing that, I will use is equal to small, right? And after small, we have to select the array. So let's go and select the array. And I need to fix the array. So for doing that, I will click on F4. And after clicking the F4, let me give a comma. And I can use 1 and close the bracket. But I don't want to use 1 because I want to drag it. If I drag it over here, the auto sum will show us the exact same value. So for doing that, what I can do, let me just select the number over here and hit enter button. And over here, if I just let me delete them, and if I just auto sum them, it will show the value from the smallest and the second smallest and the third smallest. So let's go to the sheet over here, or the table. Let's go and find the smallest one. 93, 91, 71 is the smallest, then 81, and then 90, right? So let's see whether the smallest work. Let me just make it 1, and let's see the changes on the smallest table. And over here you can see that we have able to find the smallest one, right? So let me get back to the original format. All right, so now I need to find the larger amount or the largest cells when somebody have done. So for doing that, I will use is equal to large, and then I will select the array, and I need to fix that table by pressing F4 and then a comma, and I will select the number box and close the bracket and autofill the table, right? So through this way, very easily we can find the smallest and largest function. So now you might think you need to find the second position one. So depending on the scenario, so you need to find the fourth smallest number. So how can you do that? You can is equal to small, is equal to small, then bracket, then let's select the table or the group, and then we will use comma, and we want to find the fifth smallest one among the group. So let's write 5, and let's close the bracket and hit enter, and we can see it is 93. So till 90 it was the third one, 90, 91, and 93. So mark have been the fifth position. So through this way, very easily you can find the smallest number and the largest number from any group of table that you have. So through this way, you can use this formula for your Excel file and your data. I hope you have understood how you can create small and large function to your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about sum, sumif, and sumifs function. So over here, you can see that we have data. On this data, we have customer name, item they have sold, and the sales. So first, I want to find out the total number of the sale. So how can we find that? For doing that, we have a formula which is equal to sum. Let's click on it. And the number, let's select all the numbers, and let's close the bracket, and you can see the total sum would be 20,550, right? So this is the way how you can find your sum. So now we will be learning about sumif. So what is sumif? Sumif is we want to find from this item sold, we just want to find all the laptops sales results. So now we will learn how we can get Sumif. So what is Sumif? Sumif is a factor or a formula where we can find the individual option that we want. So over here you can see we have so many items sold option. From this we need to find, or we want to find laptop, and we want to add all the laptop sales over here. So for doing that, let's select Sumif, and after selecting Sumif, we will select the range. The range is the item which we have sold. After that, we will write the criteria. The criteria is lap, 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 TOP, top, laptop, is laptop, and after that I'll give a comma and I will find the sum range. So the sum range are the sales figures. So after that, let me hit enter, and you can see that altogether it is $8,600. So let's see, the laptop 2010 1900, then 2900, right? So altogether it became $8,600. So now we will learn about sum ifs. So on this sum if, we want to find more than one criteria. So what I want to see over here, I want to see maybe Mark sell of a laptop, and whether he sells laptop and how much money he have earned through selling the laptop. So I think let me just copy Mark and place it over here, right? So we have 2 Mark, and even let's put Mark over here as a selling as a speaker as well. So you can see Mark have sold 3 items, right? Let me just highlight them. So Mark have sold 3 items, and on these 3 items he sold only 2 laptops. So I want to find how much he have sold through laptops. For doing that, I will write the formula is equal to sum ifs over here and the sum range. So the sum range are the sales figures and then comma and the first criteria. So for the first criteria, I would like to select the customer name, right? So after selecting the customer name, let me give comma and write Mark Malafi. And after that, let me give a comma and the criteria 2, which is the item sold. And after that, give a comma and then write LAP laptop. How many laptop he have sold, right? So after that, I will close the bracket and hit enter. And you can see that he have earned through selling the laptop is $3,800. So $2,100 and $1,700, which is $3,800. So what if I want to change it to laptop from speaker, right? Let's go over here and change it as SPEAKER, speaker. And you can see that he have sold only 1 speaker, and which is $550. So through this way, we can very easily use sum if else in our Excel sheet, and which will give us a first and fast result to find out all the sum. Hope you have gained a value from this lesson. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about rows, columns, and columns, right? So as you know, over here we have these known as rows. These are the rows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the rows, and these are the columns, right? So how you can find or create a row? So over here you can see this is a row, but on this row 5, it is known as 1, right? So if I write row formula and if we use the reference, it is as 5, right? But I don't want to create it on a 5. But if I put it as a reference and if I drag it, this row will come to the edges to this box. All right, so let's see about the columns. So over here, this is 1 2 3 4, number 4 column, right? But let's write column, and let's use the reference as well. And you can see it shows us the 4, which is bringing out all the exact row and column on the Excel file. But what if you want to create some row and column such as this? So for doing that, what you can do, you can write 1. This is the easiest way. 2 and 3, right? After that, you select all of them and you just drag it down. And you can see very easily you can create rows on a sheet. So over here, I want to create a column too. These are the same formula. So after doing that, let me just drag it over here. All right, and you can see that we have a row over here. This is the row. And let me just delete it. And this is a column. So very easily you can create rows and your columns easily on an Excel file. So hope you have understood how you can create rows and columns to your Excel sheet. So sometimes what happens when you have lots of data, more than 1,000 and hundreds, you should not waste your time by just writing them individually. You can just drag them down, autofill them, or you can use your row formulas so that it will work properly. So talking about row formulas, how can you create such rows in a row formula? For that, you can write row and the array, right? So if I select this and let's drag it down and let's hit enter, and you can see. So talking about that, how can we create such rows and columns? So for doing that, let us write row, and then I want to select cell which is C10, and I want to take it till 40, and I will close it. And you can see that over here we have able to find the row on the selected place, right? So through this way we can very easily create rows, columns on our Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson we will be learning about rows to columns to rows. So what is it? So as you can see that over here our table is on a row format. So here is the name and the names are given down below, but I want to create a column view. So how can you do that? So let's select and copy it, right click and copy, and after that let's select a cell and let's go to paste special, and after that you can see that we have a transpose option. After clicking on that, let's click OK, and you can see that we have all the name written in a column form now, right? So now I want to add this month and their cells as well. So after that, let's go and copy, click over here, right click, click on paste spatial and click on the transpose and click on OK. And you can see very easily we have able to create a row view to column. So now let's try the column view to the row view. Let's select the both, let's try it both, let's select both and let's copy it, and after that let's click on a cell, and after that click on paste spatial, and let's go and click on transpose and click OK. And you can see very easily we have able to create column to rows. So through this way you can manipulate all your data and your Excel sheet to rows to column, columns to row, depending on your need. Sometimes it is very helpful for us to use it on our Excel sheet. Hope you have get or understood how you can do this. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about average, average A, average if, and average ifs. So basically, we want to find out the sales average that we have earned on a month or a year, right? So for doing that, I will write the formula is equal to average. All right. So let's go and select average and the number. So the numbers are the sales numbers over here. And after that, I will hit enter. And over here, you can see that we have able to get our average sales, which is 1,450, right? So over here, as you can see that we have got an average sales of $1,450. So what happens if this sales doesn't have any numeric, but there would be a sentence such as nil or absent? So you can see that it have been changed to the average price, right? So on the average A, what will happen? Let's write average is equal to average A. And then let's select the sales options and hit enter. And you can see that we have a different average over here. But if we change it to, and you can see that we have a different number over here, and we have some decimals number as well. What happened is actually is that when you use average, it doesn't count any sentence or word between the cells, so it need to be basically the numbers. But on average A, it will be counting the sentence or word or alphabet as known as 0. So through this way you can use average and average A. So what is average if? So for example, on this table you can see that we have customer name, and over here we have item and the sales. So I want to find the average for a laptop. So our scenario is that we need to find out the laptop average sales to our Excel sheet, or we need that figure, right? For doing that, we will be writing average if, and on this average if, we will select the item that we are selling, and then we will add the criteria, which is laptop, and then a comma, and the average sales option, which is average range. So let's select it and let's hit enter. And you can see that the average laptop sold is $2,150, right? So this is the average for the laptop that we have sold all together. So over here we will find the average range if. So let's write average ifs, and over here we need to bring the average range. The average range is the cells which we have. After that, we will write our first condition. The first condition is the customer names need to be Mark Melvin. So after selecting that, I'll give a comma and write Mark Melvin. All right. After that, the second condition would be that the item that we have sold to him need to be laptop. So after that we selected, and let's write laptop. All right, and after that I will close the bracket and hit enter. And we have sold to Mark laptop $2,100, right? So if we change it, let's copy it and change it to a speaker. Let's change it as a speaker, and you can see still it is 2100. But if we put it on a laptop, let's place it on a laptop over here. Let's place it, and the figure have been changed to 2500 because the first criteria meets up and the second criteria also meet up for Mark Malvin over here, and it became it bring out the average. But over here the first criteria have been met, but the second criteria of item sold, which was a laptop, but over here we have sold him a speaker, so this criteria doesn't work. So through this way we can very easily bring out the average on average, average A, average if, and average if else. So through this way I hope you will able to create your Excel sheet, and hope you have learned a very good lesson from here. So see you on the next lesson. On this lesson we will be learning about count, Countif, count blank, Countif, and Countif's formulas. So over here you can see that we have a table. On this table we have customer names, the items sold, and the sales, right? So over here let's just make it as a word absent, and then let's make a blank, right? So over here we want to find out the numbers that we have. So count basically will find out the numeric numbers that we have. So for getting this formula, let's write count, count. So over here we will select the values and hit enter, and you can see that we have 11 counts: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So this count will find out all the values that have numeric numbers on the cells, right? So what happens to this absent and a blank? So over here you can see count A. So on the count A we will write count A and the values over here, and let's hit enter, and you can see that count A have increased to 1, which is this absent. So over here let's find out 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Count is basically about numbers, and plus it will find out the text and alphabets as well. So now I want to find the count blank option. So when you're creating a very big database or a very big Excel sheet, there might be some blank spaces that you need to find, but it will take lots of time for you to find out. So how can you find the count blank space, or you can find out whether there is any blank space or not? For doing that, let's do count blank, and we will select the range over here and then hit enter, and you can see that we have only count 1 blank. So let's blank one more, and you can see that we have 2 count blank, no alphabet. So let's get back to 1 alphabet. Let's make list, and you can see that something is decreasing and increasing depending on our Excel sheet, right? So now count if. So we want to find, or we want to put a criteria in our Excel sheet. For doing that, we will write count if, and the criteria would be the range. Let's select the range and comma, and I want to find out the sales more than $100, right? And how many more than $100 have been sold, or we have sales. Let's see. So let's see how many sales we have more than $1,000. So we have 6 sales more than $1,000. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So Countif doesn't accounts for $1,000. So if we make it as 999, it will find 7. So more than $9,999, the above are counted on Countif. So on this Countif, we can find out two criteria. So the first criteria we want over here, we want to find out the laptop and which have been sold more than $1,000. So for that, let's write the formula count ifs and the criteria range, which is this laptop or item sold option. Then let's write laptop, comma, then the criteria 2, which is the sales, then comma, which need to be more than $1,000. Let's close it, and you can see that we have 3 cells. So over here, $2,100, there is no sales over here, $1,700 and $2,900, which means that we have 3 cells. So let's make it as $700, and you can see that Countifs have been decreased. Through this way, we can very easily find out the Countif, count take, count blank over our Excel sheet. So see you on the next lesson. So on this lesson, we will be learning about round, round up, round down. So what is round? So as you can see over here, we have some numeric values, and on them we have some decimal numbers. So these decimal numbers are increasing and decreasing. So round up is basically do is, let's write round and the number, and let's hit enter. Give a comma and 0, right? And hit enter. And you can see that it have rounded up all the decimals number. So on the round up, what happens? It will just increase the digit to 1. So let's write round up and then the number, then 0, and close the bracket. And you have seen that it have rounded up and increased by 1. All right. And on the round down, what it will do is it will decrease the decimal numbers. So let's write round down the number, comma 0. So over here, when we do round down, what happens? That it have decreased all the decimals numbers from the number. So through this way, you can very easily create round, round up, and round down. So this will be very effective when you have so many decimals numbers, but you want to round it up or make it round or round down. Through this way, you can bring out the number perfectly when you're doing your sums. So I hope you have understood how to do round, round up, and round down. See you on the next lesson. So on this lesson, we will be learning about rank and percentage. So on this table, we have name and a mark. So I want to know the mark ranking over this table, right? So for doing that, we will select rank. And after selecting rank, we will select the number. And after selecting the number, I want to select the range or the reference. And I want to fix that reference by clicking on F4 on the keyboard. And then let's just close the bracket. And you can see that mark have been ranked as 11. So let's just autofill them. And you can see that through this way, we have been able to find the rank of every name over here. So the highest mark have the top ranking, and the lowest will have, and the 12 is 235. Andrew have scored higher and William have scored lower. So through this way, we can rank any Excel file. So if we want to find the percentage, for doing that, we will use percentage rank, and then we will add up the array. So array are the marks, and then we need to select the mark that we want to find. and then close the bracket. And you can see that he have done 17%. So let's just autofill them, and very easily you can see that. So now we will learn about percentage rank. So as you have seen how you can bring out the rank, we want to see the percentage of their rank. So this is also a simple task. We will select percentage rank, and after that we have to select the array. So let's select the array, and let's fix that table, and then give a comma and the mark that we have, and close the bracket. And you can see that this person is mark have got 17%. So let's just autofill them, and over here you can see that the percentage related to 100. Over here Allison got 0% because he have scored the less. So through this way, very easily you can bring out the ranking and the percentage rank throughout your Excel file. Hope you have understood how you can find rank and percentage rank in Excel sheet. On this lesson, we are going to learn about rank equal and rank average. So what is rank equal? Rank equal is similar to the rank that we have already learned. So it will bring out the ranking of the total marks that we have over here. So for doing that, what we can do, let's write rank equal and the number, give a comma and the reference over here. And after getting the reference, let's make it as frozen by clicking on F4, then give a comma, and let's close the bracket. And you can see that this person rank is 6. So let's drag it down, and over here you can see that the high scorer is 854, which have been ranked as 1. So rank equal and rank is similar formula, but you can use any one of them. As Excel gets updated, this rank might not be there anymore. So let's see how we can get rank average. So let's write rank average. So we are trying to find out the rank average of this total mark. Let's select it, and then let's select all the total mark, and let's freeze it out with F4 key. And after that, let's close the bracket. And you can see that the rank average is 6. So let's drag it down. And over here, you can see very easily, you have able to see the rank of the person. So as you can notice over here, we have to 8.5, right? So what happens over here, there is no 9, right? Because these 8.5 and 8.5 have hold two of the rankings together. So if it becomes 2.6, you can see that the average number have been increased or decreased, but when it is similar, it blocks the ranking of one upper or down below of the ranking, right? So this way you can very easily find the ranking of a person, and you can use this ranking method to your Excel work. So hope you have understood how you can use rank equal and rank average function in your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about sum product function. So what is sum product function? It is not a physical product. It is about multiplication. So for doing that, what we can do, we can write product and then select the number that we have, 0.1 and 0.2, and close the bracket. 3 5s are 15, right? And if we drag it down, we can find out all the sums over here, right? So through this way, we can very easily do our sum product. But there is another option. This is the most easiest one. You just click over here, give the multiplication sign, and select it and hit enter. And this way also you can multiply your numbers. So through this way, you can very easily work and get your sum product or multiplication done on your Excel file. Hope you have understood how you can do that. But before ending that, let's multiply all of this, right? So let's select sum product, and then let's select this and just lock it, and then select another point. Let's lock it by F4 and close the bracket. And over here you can see this is the sum total, or all the sum total of these points. So through this way, very easily you can do multiplication. Hope you have understood how you can do that. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about random and random between function. So this is a interesting lesson. This random is needed when we are validating any formulas, but this is one of the interesting functions that I have gone through in Excel. So as you know, you need to find some random numbers, right? For getting random numbers in Excel, there is a formula which is rand, right? After clicking on the rand, you just close the bracket and it will give you a random number. And let me just autofill it till June, and let's just autofill it on the rows as well. So these are the random numbers that they have provided us, right? So it is 1, 0 and decimals. So over here from July till December, I want to find a between number. So I will set a number from 1 till 99 and it will give us a random number on this Excel sheet. So for doing that, let me write rand between till the bottom one, the lesser one would be 1 and the top one would be 99. All right, let's make it 100, right? 100, and then let's hit enter. And you can see that we have 81. So let's just bring the auto number and let's autofill them. And you can see that we have 100 the maximum and 1 the minimum. So through this way we can auto generate some random numbers for our Excel sheet. This is mainly used for what I use for is for making sure that my formulas are working or not. So I hope you can also utilize this random and random between function on your Excel work sometime in your future. So hope to see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about minimum and maximum with nested function, right? So over here, you can see that we have English, math, and physics. And over here, we have those marks, right? And their subtotal have been placed over here. So for English, it's 724, mathematics 552, physics 705. So over here, you might think what you should do or why we are learning minimum and maximum. So over here, very easily you can just write maximum and let's select the number and close the bracket. And you can see that the maximum over here is 94, right? So let's change the logical or the numbers. So let's select these 3 and let's close the bracket. And over here from these 3, it is 724 is the maximum number, and for minimum number, let's select this 3 cells and let's close the bracket, and the minimum number is 552. All right, so this is very easy, and you know you can use maximum and minimum, but this is not clear which mark is maximum or which subject mark is maximum. We cannot know, or which subject is have been scored minimum. Over here we're gonna learn how to find the maximum numbers, but it will show us such as like this: English is maximum, right? English is maximum. So we want to find out how we can figure out and get this kind of output, right? For doing that, let's go on this over here. We're gonna find out how to get this kind of result on this max button. Right over here you can see that all the numbers have been shown, maximum, minimum, but it doesn't make any sense. We want to find something written like English is the maximum number or math is the maximum number. For doing that, we have this formula: if then the maximum, max max, and then we need to select this table. From this table, let's close the bracket, and it need to be is equal to the subject that we are using, English, and then let's give a comma, and on the quotation mark let's write English is maximum, right? And let's put a quotation mark, ending quotation, and give a comma, and then write if bracket maximum, and we will select these 3 cells, close it, and it need to be is equal to mathematics, right? And let's give a comma and put it inside a quotation mark, right? Mathematics is maximum. All right, after that let's give a comma and write if function again, if then maximum function between this if function which is nested, and then let's select this whole table back again, close the bracket, and give is equal to physics, give a comma, and then put it in a quotation box which is physics is maximum. And after that let's give a comma and end with 2 quotation so that the value if false have been closed, and let's close it with a bracket, and let's hit enter. And over here we found a typo in the format is tried to correct, so we will click over here so that all the bracket, ending bracket, will be adjusted automatically. All right, and you can see now English is maximum. So let's change some of the figure, right? Let's change this figure from here. Let's put it 15. Now you can see over here physics is maximum. So by changing any subject, it will show which subject is maximum or minimum, right? All right, so now English is back to maximum. So for minimum, we can use the same formula, just we have to do is we have to change it to minimum, and then we have to select it, close the bracket, is equal to English, close the put a comma, and then put in quotation English is minimum, comma, if minimum is equal to these 3 cells is equal to mathematics, comma, quotation mathematics is minimum, quotation and a comma, and again if minimum, let's select these 3 cells, close the bracket, is equal to physics, comma, in quotation physics is minimum, close the quotation, give a comma, and let's end it with double quotation and a bracket, and let's hit enter, and let's click on yes, and you can see that mathematic is minimum. So through this way you can very easily find out a value that have been well known. So over here you can see that here is the marks, and here is the idea of whether English is maximum or math is maximum, and which makes really sense. So when you have more table on your sheet, you can go through all of them through these formulas. So hope you have understood how you can create minimum and maximum number with this nested if function. So hope to see you on the next lesson. We're gonna learn about percentage functions. So as you can see over here, we have table on which we have 4 subjects, right? 1 2 3 4 subjects, and this is the total of their subject, which I have did some with which I have used some formulas, and now I want to find the percentage. So how can I find the percentage? So for finding the percentage, I will take the I have taken the total number and I will be dividing it by 400, because 1 2 3 4, and it always have the maximum number of 100, and then I will multiply it by 100. I will just put them inside a bracket. So this is the formula that we have for getting the percentage, and you can see that we have got 72.25%. And let me just autofill them, and very easily you can see that we have able to get a percentage. So let's make it the sum total, let's make it 10, and let's see whether it changes or not. 20, 5, Mark is very bad student, right? 15, and you can see that his percentage is 12. So through this way very easily we can find the percentage on our Excel sheet. So hope you have gained the idea how you can get percentage and use it in your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson we will be learning about how you can use repeated formula in Excel, which is rep, right? So as we have over here our name, I want this name repeated as twice. This one I want to repeat it for 3 times, right? For doing that, what we can do, let's write rep, formulas rep, and then let's select it, and then let's select the text, give a comma, and I want to repeat it for 2 times, right? And close the bracket, and you can see that we are able to repeat it for 2 times, right? Let's get it back here. You can see that we can repeat the number for 2 times. So over here I want to make it repeat for 3 times. For that rep, let's select the text, give a comma, and 3, close the bracket, and you can see that we have 3 times repeated. Also over here I want to repeat it for and let's drag it down. Let's repeat them all for twice. But you can see that over here NA, which have not been repeated, because this repetition would only work on your data but not on data that have no value. So /NA means this section doesn't have any value over here, so that's why it haven't repeated this value. So through this way you can make your data repeated on your Excel file. On this lesson we will learn how you can use indirect function in Excel. So what is indirect function? So over here we want to indirect the data of Weberl. How can we do that? Let's write indirect, and after writing the indirect we have to place the reference text, which is the C4 text, which is this Weberl, and let's use the quotation mark and end it. And you can see that we have able to indirect the Weberl text over here. So now let's indirect text and number form, whether it works or not. So over here we have selected that, and let's hit OK. And you can see that we have seen that this is a data, but when we use in quotation mark, that time we will find the exact value of the indirect. So let's try again indirect on number form. Indirect, let's select it and close the bracket, and you can see it is wrong. But if we use double quotation, we will find the exact number of the data that we want to indirect over our Excel sheet. So through this way, very easily you can create or indirect your data to another table. So see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn how we can allow text and numbers only on an Excel sheet. Over here, you can see we have a table. Over here, we have name, country's name, and zip code. So as you all know, the country's name doesn't have any numbers, right? And the zip code doesn't have any alphabets inside that number. So I will select this country name as a text and the zip code as number. And when somebody insert USA, this country name will allow it. But if I insert a number, it won't allow it. So how can we do that? Right now we haven't done it. So for doing that, we have to go to this ribbon and find data, and on this data we need to select data validation, and on this data validation we will select custom, and then we have to place a formula is text, then bracket, and we will select the tables which we want to do this data validation. And then let's go to error message and write please insert correct country. Let's go and see and hit OK. And over here, if I write now a number, it shows me that please insert correct country, and it's not allowing us, right? But if I put here a country name USA, it is easily taking that country's name. So similarly we need to do for zip code. For doing that, let's go to data validation. Over here, let's select custom, and the formula will be is number, and select the table and close the bracket. And on this error message, let's place insert zip number, and over here let's hit OK. And over here let's write USA. It is showing you zip number, right? Let's give a zip number 1216, and it's taking the number. So through this way we can very easily make any table structure allow only text and number. So hope you have learned how you can use allow text and number on your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn how we can convert number to word. So over here, you can see that we have 100, and over here it is 100 written in words, but I have done it manually. But how can you do it automatically, right? That's one of the biggest question. So if we use a normal formula, there is no formula. For doing that, I will attach you a formula which will be on the research page. So for getting this kind of conversion for number to word, you have to go to this developer option. So if you doesn't have this developer option, just you have to go to your file, and on this option custom ribbon, over here you have to select this developer option and hit OK, and you will find this developer option over here. And after finding that, you can see that we have Visual Basic over here. Let's click on it, and on this Visual Basic we have to create a formula. So now let's go and insert a module, right? On this module we have to write a lot of code to just getting that conversion, but I have given that code on your resource file. So let me just go and drag that resource file, right? Let me just go, and this is the code that we have. So I'll be just copying it So just do the same, download the resource file and paste it over here. So over here, after copying the code, we will go to this file, save, convert to the number to word file, and let's hit OK. And after that, let's close it, and let's write is equal to sp spelling name, and let's select this cell and close the bracket. And you can see that we have find 100 taka only. When we change it to 5,000, it have been changed, right? So through this way, very easily you can convert any number to word through this method, right? So when you have different currencies, right? So for that, let's go to Visual Basic, and over here you can see that over here it is taka only. So let's change it to dollar only, and let's save it. Yes, and let's close it, and let's change the factors. You can see very easily you can change all the factors that is there. So through this way, very easily you can convert number to word, and you can vastly use this method to your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will be learning about upper, lower, and proper function. So over here you can see that all the name we have is on lower, and these are all uppers, and we have to place this as proper. So how can you do that? For doing upper, what you have to do, you have to write a formula is equal to upper. Let's select this upper, and let's select this text, and let's close the bracket. And you can see that this name have become upper. And over here, let's go and click on our mouse double, and you can see all of the field have been upper. Over here, now we want to make all the text lower. So for doing that, let's write this formula lower, and let's select the text and close the bracket. And you can see now that mark name have become lower, and let's drag it down. And you can see that all the name have been lowered. So now over here we want a proper naming. So we want all the first alphabets to be upper and the rest need to be lower. For doing that, let's write this formula proper. Let's select this proper, and let's select the name, and let's close the bracket. And you can see that now we have the proper naming over here, and let's drag it down. And you can see very easily we have been able to create uppercase, lowercase, and properly maintained names. So through this way you can very easily manipulate or changes all the names and all the difficult entries. Very easily you can make it proper with this lower, upper, and proper function. Hope you can use this on your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we're gonna learn about trim, length, and concatenation. So on this trim, you can see that the input that we have of the name is different, right? But it need to be proper. We need to trim this name. So for doing that, let's write it's equal to trim, and let's select this text and close the bracket. And you can see that very easily these have been trimmed. So let's drag it down, and you can see all the name have been trimmed properly, right? So now let's find out the length of the name. So for doing that, let's select length, and then let's select the text, and let's close the bracket. And you can see it have 11 alphabets. And let's double click over here, and all the name is showing how many alphabet it have. So let's just make sure that it does it properly. And you can see now there are 4 alphabets only. So now concatenate option. So over here we have first name and last name. We want to connect them both. For doing that, let's write the formula concatenate, and then the first text comma, then the second text, and let's close the bracket and hit enter. But you can see that there is no space, right? So for giving the space, we need to give 2 quotation mark, enter quotation and a comma, and let's hit enter. And you can see now we have a space in between. So let's drag it down, and you can very easily connect 2 names all together in one name. So through this way you can do trimming, length, counting, and connecting all these names together. Hope you have understood how you can do this. So this will be very handy to you while you're having a big Excel sheet to work with. So see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we're gonna learn about left, right, and mid function. So over here, you can see we have address where we have left, right, and mid option. So we will automatically just separate all those information together. For doing that, we have a formula called left. After selecting left, we will select the text, and then we have to select the number, right? But as we are selecting a number or character, we don't know how many word it have or which word we want to find. So for doing that, we have to use the find formula inside left. Let's search for find, and after searching for find, we have to give the find text, which is nothing right now, and then within the text, so within which text we want to search from. So we want to search from this text, and then close the bracket, and then let's hit enter. And you can see that we have able to get Melvin, and we can separate it very easily. But you can notice that we have covered the comma over here. So how can you remove that? For removing that, after finding it, you have to -1. So we are minusing one of the character. Still it's not gone, right? So let's do it -2. And you can see very easily we have able to minus it. So what this -2 does is it have removed the space and the minus option. Or if we want to add, let's add +2, and we can see that we will find the O, right? So very easy to find the left option. So let's give -2 and let's separate it. And over here, let's go and drag it down, and you can see that we have able to separate the left option. For this right option, we have to give the formula right, and then we have to select our address, and then let's use length. And after selecting the length, let's select the cell which we have, and after selecting the cell, let's close the cell and then minus it with find. After that, let's give the text over here, the finding text, and then within the text we have to select the address which we want to select, and then give a comma, and we need to again find the text between, and then select the address and place 1. From 1 we want to select, and then +2 and close the bracket, right? Yes. And you can see that we have able to find the last or the right side writing. So what happened over here is that we have the right option called, and then we have called the address. And when you find the address have asked for the length, so they have the length and they have minus the length with the find option. So on this find option we have find the number and we have make it less, and from there it have able to bring out the right option. So let's see whether it works on all of the. So over here you can see that we have able to bring all the right number on this box. So over here, how we can find the middle one? For doing that, we need to write mid, and after writing the mid we need to find the address, right? After finding the whole text or the text that you want to find from, we will be finding the first one, the middle one, and the third one, and give the final middle result. So for doing that, let's write find. After giving this find, we need to give the double bracket as find text and then give a comma and select the box or the address box that we have and give comma and 1 and then close the bracket, and we will add with 1, right? After that we will close the bracket and give a comma. So we have able to figure out the first or the left text, and after that we have to find again, give the find formula, and after that let us get the double quotation for the find text, and then we have to select the text from which we gonna find, and after that we will give a comma and write again find, open bracket and give double quotation, give comma, and we will select the text or the cell. And over here, after we have selected it, let's give 1, and then we will close the bracket and we will add 1 to it. And after adding 1 to it, let's close the bracket and we will minus the right side text, which is the numeric one, 44644. For doing that, we will write find, and then let's give double quotation for finding the text, give a comma, let's select the cell from which it will find, and then give a comma and 1, and let's close the bracket and let's hit enter. Yes, and you can see that we have able to find the Ohio. Let's autocorrect it, and very easily we have able to find the mid section of the address. So here is our left section, right section, and mid section. So through this way, very easily you can find left, right, and mid function in your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we're gonna learn about find and search function. So there is difference between find and search. So as you can see over here, we have a name and we want to find their alphabet. So let's do it. Over here, let's write find, and let me click it over here, and we want to find a text. So from this name, we want to find the text K, right? And after that, give a comma and select the cell which have the text. Then let us close the bracket. And over here, you can see that we have only one K inside that. And over here, we have search. Let me search. Write the formula of search. And then after clicking on the search, let's find out the letter K, comma, and the within text which we want to find from, and then let's hit enter, and we can see that we have similar output. But what happened if we change that K into small letter? And you can see that when we are searching for k in find, we have a error because find is really case sensitive. Whereas on search, if we change it to smaller k, you can see still it will show you the result. So search is not case sensitive. All right. After that, let's search for w. All right. So let us search for w, and you can see that we have 16. So over here, let's count the alphabet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And between here, we have a space, which is 16, right? So over here, let's go and search for w as well. And we can see we can find w as well. So you might think this is similar, but the difference comes along when we search for e. All right. So you can see the e is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And over here, if we search for e, you can see we have 5 as well. So the main difference between e is that when we are finding something, it will find between the first option, right? But over here, it will find till the last option. So over here, you can see that on the finding a, it counts around 11. So here is 4, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is a. And over here, we have a, which is 1 and 2. So we have 2a. So these are the difference between finding and searching. So very easily you can distinguish between find and search, which we're gonna learn more on when we are going for our critical formulas. So hope you have understood how you can distinguish between find and search, and when you can use both of them properly. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we're gonna learn about is function in Excel. So is function in Excel will give us the result about whether we have any issues on our Excel sheet. So over here we have is number. So what is number will do, it will find whether there is number or not. For doing that, let's give the formula is number. Let's select it and let's select the cell and let's close it. And you can see it shows false. So let's just double click over here and it came false. Let's just drag it down, and over here you can see that the number those cells have been came true. So now let's find out is text. So for is text, let's find out whether it works or not. On the cell, let's find it out and click enter, and you can see that it have came false. It is text, but it is false because we have used some of the formula over here. Let's so drag it down, and you can see that most of them have came false. So let's write letter over here, hello. Let's drag it down, let's drag it down, and it came true, right? So over here now we will look for is error. So is error will help us to find out. Let me just do it. So is error will help us to find out whether we have used formula or not. So over here we have used some, so it is coming true. Over here we haven't, it is coming none. So is error is similar. So let's give a value over it, and then let's drag it down. And over here you can see that only the first 4 have the value and other is false because the first 4 have formulas and other doesn't. So let's do is NA. So NA is a formula where we can use hash n hash a. So let me just first give hash n slash a. So sometime we use it, right? So is error have considered it as a formula, but is error doesn't consider it as a formula, right? So that's the difference. So let's do is NA. So over here is NL. Let's just select it and hit enter, and you can see that it's coming false, but NA will come true. See, I have told you NA have come true. So sometimes when you have some kind of document where you have NA, it will show you as true. So is even will show you the empty cells and return true or false. So is even, and then let's select it and hit enter, and it shows null. So let's drag it down, and over here you can see only the text that we have or the number have showing you as true and also false. So over here it will show you all the even number which are true. So these are the even number, this is not even number, so it have shown you false. So over here we gonna do is odd. So over here you can understand which one will be the odd number. As we have done the even number, let's just drag it down. So there will be 2 false and 1 true. So see, these are even numbers, this is odd number. So over here we will do now is non-text. Let's select it and hit enter, and we will find which one is not text. So the last one is only text and other are all formulas, right? Others are formulas, and this one is the text, is ref. So isref is a value of a reference and return true or false. So let's select the table, and over here it shows us true. So let's drag it down, and over here everything is true because everything have a reference to it. And now we will see is logical. So it will show us the value which have the logical value in it. So let's select the first one and hit enter, and over here it shows us false. Let's drag it down, let's see whether any of our logic have worked. So yes, the logic of this 2 is equal to logic is true, so it is showing that logic is absolutely all right. So over here we will see is formula. Is formula. So is formula is the cell content a formula whether or not. So let's select and hit enter, and you can see the first 4 have formulas. Let's just drag it, and the 5th one won't have the formula. So the first one have formula, second one doesn't have a formula, third one have formula, and then rest of them doesn't have a formula. So those have formula, you can very easily find it out. So when you have a very big Excel sheet, you need to find this kind of tests, whether it have formula, whether it have text or not. So this method will help you out much when you're using this is function in Excel. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson we are going to learn today and now function. So how can we find out today's and now function? So for doing that, let's write is equal to today, which will returns the current date format as a day. So today, let's close the bracket and hit enter. And as we have entered over here, you can see that it is the date of today. Let's go down here and let's see what is the date today. It is 25th of July 2022, and the shortcut key is Ctrl plus clone, which will easily bring you the date of today. So now we will learn how we can find current time. So for getting the current time, let's give is equal to time and hit enter and close the bracket. It doesn't work because we are not finding out the current time. For doing that, we need to use now function, which will return the current date and time format now. And let's close the bracket, and you can see that we are able to get the current date and the current time. Also, we can have a shortcut which we can use to find out the current time, which is Control Shift and clone. And over here you can see that the time have been changed over here. And over here on the current time, if we go and select time, it will just show us the time itself. So through this way you can very easily find out date, time all together in your Excel sheet. Hope you have a good value from this lesson. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn about date function. So over here, you can see we have month in one cell, day in one cell, and year in one cell. So how can we combine these three cells to one cell? So that's very simple. We have to click over here, give is equal and write date. And let's select that. And first we will select the year, comma, and the month, comma, and the day. Right, and let's close the bracket. And very easily you can see that we have able to find the date. And you can see on top over here the number, it have changed to date. So what if we change it to general? It have just normal numeric data. But now let's change it to long date. And you can see that we have Wednesday and July 20 and 2021. So let's go and make it short date. And let's change and make the month into 13. And you can see that when I have changed it to 13, it have take us to January month and it have added a year to it. So through this way, very easily we can get all the date, scattered date from different cell to a single cell. So hope you have understood how you can use date function on your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn about date if function. So what is date if function? So as you can see over here, we have a starting date and an ending date, right? And most of the HR and accountant need this function to find out the exact month or time they have worked. So how we have able to bring out this as 1 year, 5 months, and 2 days. So over here, we have to write date if, then the bracket, then the starting date, comma, and the ending date, comma, and the year, right? Why? And let's close the bracket. And we will use, and over here we are using parenthesis, clone, not parenthesis, and then double quotation, quotation and parenthesis. Then we will copy this part again, and we will use it back over here. And here year y, we will use ym for the month. So after that we will use parenthesis, clone, month, months, quotation, and option. Again we will copy the date if function. After that, let's use M and D for the year, right? And then let's for the day. And after that, let's use parenthesis, double quotation, days, double quotation, and parenthesis. And let's close it. All right, so you can see that very easily we have able to create the similar options of the date if, where we can see 1 year, 5 months, 23 days. So let's just make it 21. And you can see 0 years, 5 months, 2 days. So through this way, you can very easily create date if option and use it on your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about EDATE and EO months. So what is EDATE? EDATE is adding a month. So as you can see over here, we have our date and we want after 2 months, right? So when we want after 2 months or 1 month, let's make it 1, and let's do it before 2 months. So it will be -2, right? So over here, let's go and write the formula. So over here, let's write is equal to E date and the starting date, which is today's date, and we are going to give a month, which is we want to add a month. Let's close the bracket, and you can see that this is 2 January and it became 2 February, right? So now I want to get before 2 months, right? So for doing that, let's go over here. Let's make it general. So now we will see the before date. Over here, let me use minus. So over here, we want to go to the month of November, right? For doing that, let's write edate, and then let's select the date today and then -2. So 2 are the months which we are considering. So we are going back to November 2022, and you can see that we have gone to November 2002 as well. So this is how you can find out your date properly. And over here, we have already written the formula of EO months. So what is EO months? EO month is considered as month, or it will go to the end of a year. So every ending year you can consider it. So EO month is a month date where we are dealing with the dates. So let's write EO month and then the starting date, which is 2, and then we want to find it till the last date of this January month, so which is 31. So it is January 31st 2023. So now you might think of how you can get the end of the year, right? For doing that, we have to get the month. So let's write EO month and then the starting date, and we will minus it with 1. So we will go to the month of December, and you can see that we have able to go to the month of December. Now we want to go to the month of December of 2022 or January 2022. So how can we do that? So let's write EO month, and after that the starting date, then let's minus it by 2. And you can see that we have gone to the month of December, and if we want to add it, let's add 1, and we have gone to the 28th of 2023. So through this way, we can very easily use edate and e-months to figure out somebody's pension date, somebody's salary statement. Through this function, we can very easily get the date on which they might need the data for your Excel sheet. So hope you have understood how you can use edate and EO months for your Excel sheet. Hope to see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about date value, weekend number, dates, date 365 functions, and how we can use it. So sometimes you have so many dates on your Excel sheet and you need to find the date value. So over here, let's try the date value first. Date value, and let's select this date and then hit enter, and you can see that this have a error, or this date value is not been considered because it have been set as date itself, right? So how can you do that? So let's write date value, and over here it says convert a data in the form of text to a number that represent the data in Microsoft Excel date code. So for doing that, what we have done is, over here you can see that we have a date. So if we write 11/1/2023, so you can see that it have automatically changed to date. Let's make it as general. It shows us a value, right? So let's get it back where it was, date. And over here, if we use a apostrophe and hit enter, it became a text. All right. So now if we select it, let's select this one over here and hit enter, and you can see that we got a value. So let's try it for the 11th of January month. So for doing that, let's do date value and select this text, close the bracket, and you can see that we have able to get the date value through this. So date value need to be on a text date value, which need to have this apostrophe on the first. So for week num, we will write week num and then the series number, which is July, and we want to find it from Sunday, Monday. So we want to find it from Sunday, right? And let's close the bracket. And when it's 24th July, it is 31st of the weekend. So let's try it around, let's make it January, and let's try it week num, and the series number is January, and then we want from Sunday. And if you see that it have considered it as the first week, so let's see, let's make it as 8, and you can see that when it's come to 8, it became second week of this month of January. So through this way, very easily you can find out the weekend of a month. So now we will learn about days. So as you can see, we have written the formula for dates, and we want to find the end date and the start date. So for the end date, let's select 8 Jan 2023, and the start date, let's give a comma, and the start date as 24th July, and let's hit enter. And there have been 128 days. So let's change it to 8 Jan. Let's make it first, and over here one as well. And you can see that we have able to get 372 days. So let's make it 1st January of 2023, and over here you can see that the total days of this year from 2022 and 2023 is 365. So now you might think, what is days 360? So days 360, some account system have considered every month as 30 days. So most of these have work on European accounting system. So for that, we have to write days 360. So if your account system is for day 360, you can use this, or else you can use this days method. So over here we want to use the start date. Let's select the start date, give a comma, and the end date over here, and close it, right? And you can see that it have considered every month as 30 days, but when we come over here, you can see that we haven't used any method. So let's give a comma, and you can see that here is false, US method and European method. So most of the 360 days method used by European culture. So let's select it, which is true, and let's hit enter. And you can see through this way we can easily find out days, which is 365. And if your account system or your Excel file is related to 30 days for every month, it will come as 360 days. So hope you have understood how you can use date value, week num, days, and day 360. Hope to see you on the next lesson. Hour, minute, second, and time value function. How can we utilize it? So for doing that, we have to click on Control, Shift, and semicolon, and you can see that exact time have came over here. So now I want to find the hour from this time. For doing that, let's write hour, and let's select the time, and let's close the bracket, and it is 19 hours. So similar way we can find out the minute. You can see we have minute option. Let's select the time and close the bracket, and very easily you can see the minute. Over here we will find the second, and let's select the time and close the bracket, and you can see that the second have been over here as well. So now we want to select this altogether hours into a time. For doing that, let's write time, and after that we will select the hour. After selecting hour, let's give a comma, then the minute, then the second, and let's close the bracket. So we are going to generate a new term through this Excel sheet, and this shows the exact time over here, right? So now we want to find the time value. So what is the time value over here? So let's select time value, and let's select this time and hit enter. And you can see that we are not able to get the time value because this time value doesn't count this PM or AM. So for doing that, what we have to do, we have to manually place the time. So let's place the time over here. For doing that, we will use this double quotation, and let's place the time like 7 colon 7 double colon 15 9, right? Double colon and bracket, and you can see that we are able to get the time value. So through this way, very easily we can get the hour, minute, second, time and time value on our Excel sheet. These are mainly working for airports, all the flight delays, train delays, and all those kind of time schedule you can maintain very easily. Also for the hourly rate, for somebody, you can very easily use this method, and it will be very helpful for your work. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about weekdays, work days, and network days function. So for doing that, let's find out how to find this date text, right? For doing that, let's write text, and over here we have two arguments, which is value and format text. So the value is the date, and for format texting we are using 0, and we will see a normal text indexing over here. And let's fill up all the boxes, and over here we need to find the days of all the dates. So on the days, we want to find the days from the date, right? For doing that, let's write text, and the value is the date, and then we want to find the days. So let's give 1 2 3 4 days, and let's close the bracket, and you can see that we have able to get the days over here. So let's autofill them. So as you can see, the day starts with Monday till Tuesday, right? So now we will find out the weekdays. How we can do that? For doing that, so now we will find the weekdays. So for doing that, let's write weekday, and the series number, which is the date, and the return need to be from Sunday, and let's close the bracket. And you can see that this is weekday 2, and as you can see, the day is Monday, so Sunday and Monday, so it is 2. So over here, if we count it down, you can see that Monday is 2 3 4 5 6 7, Saturday is 7th day, then again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this way you can easily find out the weekdays. So now we will learn how we can get work days. So on the work day, what will happen is that we have started from Monday, and it will find the work day of a week. So for doing that, let's get it done, work day, and we will start from 25th July, and then the days. So we are counting as 5 days for work, and holiday we are not counting it right now, and let's close it. Let's go and make it as short date, and over here you can see that the work date have ended on 1st August, right? Monday. So it have counted. Let's highlight it. 1 2 3 4 and 5. So it have excluded this 25th July for the work day, because work days will always exclude the date that we are starting for, and Saturday and Sunday have been considered as holidays. All right, so now when we are doing with net work days, what will happen? It will not exclude this 15th July, which is Monday, and it will show us how many days we are working. So for doing that, let's write net work days and the starting date, and let's select the ending date, which would be 5 days, 1 2 3 4 5, but let's take it as August, right? And end it. So it will show us we have been worked for 6 days, right? And if we change it to 29, it will show us we have been working for 5 days. So this is the basic difference between work days and net work days, and very easily you can utilize this to find out a salary Excel sheet, or people those who are working for your workspace. Hope you have understood how you can use weekdays, workday, and net workday for your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson. So now we are going to learn about year rec function. So as we have learned about days, weekend, and months, let's find out how we can find the year base function. For doing that, we can just simply write year rec, and we have to consider the start date, comma, and the end date. And let's close the bracket, and you can see that from 25th July till 25th July 2023 it's 1 year. And let's drag it down, and you can see that it have shown some decimals, right? So let's just write it over here, year rec, the starting date, comma, the ending date. So this is shown as a decimal number. So let's go and make it as numbers. So it is considered as 0.82. So it is not completely done. So let's make it a little bit different. Let's make it as first, and let's make it as 6 July, and let's make it as similar month. So over here you can see that it have been considering it as 47%, right? Let's make it 1, and from January 1 till July 1 it is 0.24 year rec. So this is how you can very easily find out the year rec on your Excel sheet. Also, you can use your ribbons over here on the formula. You can go to your date and time. Over here you can find all the months, days, and all those formulas over here, and you can use it for your Excel sheet as well. So let's try it. The starting date, let's try 25th July, ending date here, and basis is a type of day count based on the use. We don't have any basis, so let's click it. It is 1. So similar way you can use year rec, month, and weekend for your Excel sheet. Hope you have got a good value from this date and times section. Hope to see you on the next lessons. On this lesson we are going to learn about dynamic drop down list. So as you can see that we have a table on our right hand side where we have the country's name and state. So now I want to create a drop down list for country, and the country we can find out the state as well. So let's go and create a drop down list. So let's go and click on list, and over here the source file that we want is this, and after that let me click OK, and now you can see that we have able to create the country, right? So as we have create that drop down for the country, I want to create a state drop down. For that I will use offset, because if we use this drop down list it won't be working, because we are working against the country drop down. For that now we want to select a reference. So the reference is USA, and let's lock it. So as we have selected USA, because this is the first on the table, it will work as a row from here to the downward and from the right hand side. And then let's select the row. The row is 1, and then we will use the match function. So because we are using the match function, we are matching it for the country. So let's select the box or the cell from here, and then let's use our country table, and then we will use 0 for exact match, and then we will close the bracket. And after closing the bracket, we want to select 1 as the column, and then the height are the rows which we have all the states. So here are 6 states that we have. Let me put 6, and then I will use width as 1 because I don't want it to go on this right hand side. And then I will close the bracket, and let's hit enter. And you can see that very easily we have able to get all the states from the country. So if I change it to USA, I will find all the US state. But if you give a close look, that when we go to UK, you can find here is 2 number which is 0 because we have set this formula for 6 height. So let's go and copy this, and let's copy it, and now let's create a dynamic list. So let's go data validation, and then let's go over here and a list, and let's place that formula. And now you will find that we have a list, right? But still there is an issue, which is that we have 2 empty box over here. So let's delete this one as well, and let's see about the Canada. On this Canada, we will find only 1 left. So how can we solve that? For solving that, we need to use count a option. So count just the number of cell and the range that are not empty. So it will count all which are not empty. So over here, let's go and let's select this 6 box and hit enter, and let's see how many have been entered. There are only 4 entries. So what we gonna do? We will place. So now we will use this count option inside our formula. So let's do that. As I have already copied it, I will just close it with a bracket, and you can see that we have 5 options left, right? So for Canada there is 5 entries, for UK there will be 4 entries. So now I will copy this option. I'm just showing it for a purpose, but you don't have to do that. So let's go to the data validation. So let's click it over here, go to the data validation, and over here you can see that we have 6 items over here. So the count option will work on this place. So let me just paste it over here, and let's hit OK. And now let's go and see UK. We will have only 4 drop down lists that we have. So let me delete this one, and on UK we have 4, on Canada we had 1 but we have none right now. So through this way you can very easily create a dynamic drop down list for your Excel file. Hope you have understood how you can create that. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about searchable drop-down list. What is searchable drop-down list? So searchable drop-down list is a list where you can search through small keyword, and that can show you the result on the box. So how can we do that? Let's see on our screen. You have USA and their state name below them. So let's write search. And then we will look for the find text, which need to be over here, and we will lock it with F4. Then we need to find the within text. So I will select all of them and press F4 to lock it and close the parameters. And you can see that all of them have 1 because we haven't searched for anything right now. But if we search for new, and you can see that we have new options searchable have 2, but when we do York, we will find only 1 values, right? So through this way very easily we can create searchable values. But now you might think why I am seeing this error type value. So for that, so now we will use is number, so that we will find true or false. Okay, so let's see. So now you can see that we have true and false. So if we select it as AL, we have two trues because we have AL of 2, and A also will have two trues. So through this way, very easily you can create a searchable drop down list on your Excel sheet. On this lesson, we are going to learn about dynamic drop down list. So as you can see that we have a table on our right hand side where we have the country's name and state. So now I want to create a drop down list for country, and the country we can find out the state as well. So let's go and create a drop down list. So let's go and click on list, and over here the source file that we want is this, and after that let me click OK, and now you can see that we have able to create the country, right? So as we have create that drop down for the country, I want to create a state drop down. For that I will use offset, because if we use this drop down list it won't be working, because we are working against the country drop down. For that, now we want to select a reference. So the reference is USA, and let's lock it. So as we have selected USA, because this is the first on the table, it will work as a row from here to the downward and from the right hand side. And then let's select the row. The row is 1, and then we will use the match function. So because we are using the match function, we are matching it for the country. So let's select the box or the cell from here, and then let's use our country table, and then we will use 0 for exact match, and then we will close the bracket. And after closing the bracket, we want to select 1 as the column, and then the height. The height are the rows which we have all the states. So here are 6 states that we have. Let me put 6, and then I will use width as 1 because I don't want it to go on this right hand side. And then I will close the bracket, and let's hit enter, and you can see that very easily we have able to get all the states from the country. So if I change it to USA, I will find all the US state. But if you give a close look, that when we go to UK, you can find here is 2 number which is 0, because we have set this formula for 6 height. So let's go and copy this, and let's copy it, and now let's create a dynamic list. So let's go data validation, and then let's go over here and a list, and let's place that formula. And now you will find that we have a list, right? But still there is an issue, which is that we have 2 empty box over here. So let's delete this one as well, and let's see about the Canada. On this Canada, we will find only 1 left. So how can we solve that? For solving that, we need to use count a option. So count just the number of cell and the range that are not empty. So it will count all which are not empty. So over here, let's go and let's select this 6 box and hit enter, and let's see how many have been entered. There are only 4 entries. So what we gonna do? We will place. So now we will use this count option inside our formula. So let's do that. As I have already copied it, I will just close it with a bracket, and you can see that we have 5 options left, right? So for Canada there is 5 entries, for UK there will be 4 entries. So now I will copy this option. I'm just showing it for a purpose, but you don't have to do that. So let's go to the data validation. So let's click it over here, go to the data validation, and over here you can see that we have 6 items over here. So the count option will work on this place. So let me just paste it over here, and let's hit OK. And now let's go and see UK. We will have only 4 drop down lists that we have. So let me delete this one, and on UK we have 4, on Canada we had 1 but we have none right now. So through this way you can very easily create a dynamic drop down list for your Excel file. Hope you have understood how you can create that. See you on the next lesson. So on this lesson, we are going to learn about filtering function. So what is filtering function? Filtering function is a function where we can filter all the data from the table. So as you can see that we have a table, and this is our table that we have, and here is a lot of data over here. So you can see here is customer name is there, there are departments, and also the position. So I want to find out the department, and you can see on top on the home you will find a search option. On that we will use the sort and find option, and over here you can see that we have this arrow. Through this arrow we can very easily filter all of them. So now I want to look for the IT person. Okay, so now you can see that I have got the table which is related to the IT department, and I want to select a position. So let's select senior executive. So it have sort out, or it have filter the department of IT, and then it have bring us to executive. So let's select all of them, let's clear them up, and you can get back to your original template. So now you can sort it out from A to Z, but it won't be working over here. So let me just select and sort it out. And on this salary you can see that we have this salary option. I want to see who all gets 1500, and you can see that I have able to get that person. So this is how we can very easily find out through salaries, through department, or through IDs. Depends on how you want to filter all of your data. On this lesson we are going to learn about unique function. So unique function is really a unique function in Excel, which is we will find out the product name, and we will find out all of the unique product that we have. You can see that we have laptop for 2 times television. So but we want to find out only the actual product that we have. So when you have a very big list, that time you will have such a trouble to find out all of your products. So for doing that, what we can do, we can call unique function. After calling the unique function, we have to select the array. So the array is our product name, and let's press F4 to lock it, and then give a bracket and hit enter. And you can see very easily we have able to find all of the unique product that we have. So now let's see their second argument that we have on this unique function. So let's write unique, and then we will select the array and press F4. Then we can select by column or row. So you can see for true it's written unique columns or unique rows. So for that we can use 0 and hit bracket, and you can see that we have the row which we have over here shows us the unique values. Now if we make it 1 as row, you can see that we have rows that we have in common. So over here we have 2 laptops, still it shows laptop, but if I create a laptop over here, it will still show you a laptop, right? But if we show, it shows us nothing like that, right? Because over here it is showing us as a row, and that's why we can find the rows, right? So through this way very easily we can create rows. So through this we can very easily find out the unique value from rows and columns. Hope you have understood how you can create unique function on your file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson we will be learning about odd, even, and mod formula in Excel. So as you can see that we have value on our left hand side, and we have odd, even, and mod number. So how can we figure out whether it's odd number or even number? So for odd we will write odd function, and after that it will round a positive number up and negative number down to nearest odd integration. So after that we will select this, and let's hit enter. You can see that it is an odd number. Then let's autofill it, and you can see that the value which was 16 was even number. So what he does, he have add 1 up to make it a odd number. So for even number, let's do even. It will also round the things up, and you can see that it have added 1 so that it becomes an even number. So through this way, very easily you can create odd even number, round it up and add them and make it fully odd number or even number. So for the mod, the returns the reminder after the number divided by a diversion. So on mod, after that, let's give a bracket. This is the number we have to divide with by 3, and when we divide 7 by 3 we get 1. So let's drag it down. When we divide the odd number with 3, it becomes 0, and the even number will give you the end result, right? So if we make it 2, and let's drag it down, you can see that this all even number becomes 0 and the odd number have 1. So through this way, very easily you can use odd, even and mod formula in Excel to figure out. So through this way you can find odd, even and mod number on your Excel file. Hope you have understood how you can do that. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to buy sort and sort by function. So over here you can see that you have table on which we can use sort and sort by. So very easily you can sort it through this option, sort A, sort B. All right, that's the easiest one. But what if you want to need the formula? So for that you can use sort range of array, and let's select the array. Let's select all the array, and the sorting order, first we need to select the sort index. So which one you want to index? 1, 2, 3. So I want to index it for 3, and then I will close it and see. So over here you can see that we have able to get the sorting numbers from lower to higher, right? So now if we want, let's just copy this and paste it over here. Let's delete this part, and over here let's do sort and sort by. The sort a range or array based on the value in the corresponding range or array. So let's select the array, and then let's get by the array. Let's give a comma, and by the array would be the team, right? And the first sorting order, which will be ascending, and let's close it. And you can see that we have selected the team which need to be from A to Z, and B and then G is coming through that way. Over here you can see very easily we have able to create this sorting system by sort and sort by. This is the formula that we are using, and this formula is used basically in between any formulas, right? So for that I have shown you, but the easiest form of sorting is the one you have on the top, or you can just select them, right click, and you can have this sort option, ascending, descending, and custom sort as well. So hope you have understood how you can use sort and sort by function in Excel. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson we are going to learn about sequence function. So what is sequence function? Over here you can see that we have our school names and their ID number. So I want to select the ID number. So let's select 100, 1000, 1001, and so on. So after that, let me just select it and drag it down, and it will increment by 1, and you can see that 101, 102, 103. So this is really easy to find out the sequence function. But what if we need the formula? For doing that, let's select sequence, and then there is row, column, start and end. So for doing this row and column, it would be just for a single cell. So I want it to be a counter option. So over here, let's give another function as counter, and the value would be this section. Let's select it till 20, and then let's close the bracket. And after that, we have to select the row. So I will select -1 because I don't want the first one to be added. And then again for the column, I will add 1. And then I want to start. So I want to start it from 1000. All right. And after that, I want it to be increment by 10. So 110, 120, and so on. So let's close the bracket and hit enter. And you can see very easily we have able to create the sequence table over here, but the last table haven't worked because we have used -1. So let's just delete -1. And over here you can see that the last box also have been used properly. So through this way you can very easily use this sequence function to your Excel sheet. Hope you have understood how you can use this sequence function on your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about frequency function. So on the frequency function, what we will look for, as we have already know how you can find the unique ID. So we want to find the unique ID first, and on the unique ID, how many frequency we have. So that means how many people is with 35 years of age or 24 years of age. So let's go and look for unique IDs first. So over here we have the unique ID. Let's select the array and let's close the bracket. And you can see over here we have this unique age. And now we will find the frequency. So let's select the frequency and then let's select the data array from which we want to find, and then we would like to find it from the unique ID. Let's select it and let's close the bracket. And over here you can see that we have 35 unique as 3. So let's say 1, 2, and 3. 24, 1, 2, and 3, right? And so on. Let's see 21. So 21 of age is for 1. So through this way, we can very easily find the unique IDs of a person, and then we can find the frequency of that unique ID, how much or how many people are there, how much money they're using, all sort of use through this formula. Hope you have understood how you can create this Excel file. So hope to see you on the next lesson. So on this lesson, we are going to learn about transpose function. So what is transpose function? So over here, you can see that our data is on column row and all the data is on column row, but I want it to be as a row. So for doing that, what we can do, we can just copy it. Let's copy it and then let's select a box. Over here, let's go to paste special. And over here, you can see that we have this transpose option. Let's select it and hit OK. And you can see that we now have a transport option. Let's go and select all of the table. Let's copy it. And over here, let's go and let's paste it. Paste special and transpose. And very easily, you can see that we have able to create transports on our Excel sheet, right? So now, let's use the transpose formula. Over here we have the transpose and here is the array, right? And let's close it. And very easily through this also we can use this transpose for our Excel sheet. So hope you have understood how you can create this transpose on your Excel sheet and manipulate your Excel files table to rows to columns to rows. Hope you have understood how you can use this transpose function. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about index function. So over here, how indexing works. So over here, if we want to find index, I have to put a serial number. Let's put a serial number 3. And over here, we will call the index value. So let me call the index value and then I want to select this item from here, and then I'll give a comma, and I will place the serial number cell H4 and hit enter. And you can see that on the serial number of 3, 1 2 3, so if I change it to be 4, and you can see 1 2 3, it is HDD, and if I change it to 1, it will become laptop. So through this way, very easily we can use index function on a value. So over here you can see that we have 3 options, which is row and column. So how can we do that? On row, let's place 2, on column 2, and on column we want it 1 2 3 3. So now how can we do that? For doing that, I'll write index, and then I will use the references. So now we will select the whole table. Let's select it and give a comma, and then we will use the first row. So which row we want to select? So I want to select the row number, then I want to select the column. So after that, I will close the bracket, and see we have the value of 35 of the quantity of the headphone. So if I change the row to maybe 4, we will find 62 as the speaker, right? So through this way we can also find 2 variables altogether in a value. So I hope you have understood how this index function works. So I hope you will use this function on your Excel file whenever it's needed. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about match function in Excel. So over here we have name and we have serial number. So how we can match them, right? So over here, what I want to do is I want to search a name and it will show me the serial number over here. So let's do it. For now, let's go to the serial number option and we will use match function. And when we use match function, returns the relative position of an item. So match function, then the lookup value, which is the name, and then the lookup array. So I want it to look up from the name, and then we want exact match, and let's close the bracket. And you can see over here now, if I write mark, it's not coming anything. But if I write mark P, you can see that when we have exact name, it will show us the serial number. So let's go and copy Calvin. Let's paste it over here, and you can see Calvin's serial number is 4. So through this way we can use a match function, and very easily we can use this match function on our Excel sheet. Hope you have understood how you can use this match function in Excel. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about trim function. How can we trim it? This is a very simple task, right? For that, we will write trim. For that, we will write trim. And after writing the trim, we will select the text and we will close it. And very easily, you can see that we have able to trim all of our data. So this is how you can use your trim function on your Excel sheet, so you don't have any issues or you don't look a scattered text on your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about how we can use choose function. So as you can see that we have a good, very good, excellent, and here is the numbering. So when I put this grade over here, it will show me the result. So how can we do that? So let's write choose option. So after choosing the option, the index number, which is this box, and then we need to add the value, which is 1 2 3, and then let's close the bracket. And when I now put grade 1, it will show good, right? If I put it 3, it will show me excellent. So now through this way, very easily we can create useful function for about choosing the right data. Hope you have understood how you can use this choose function. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about exact formula. So what is exact formula? Exact formula is a formula where we will be able to find whether we have duplicates name. So here is a name option also over here. So we want to see whether we have duplicate option as true or false. For doing that, what we have to do, we have to use this exact formula, exact, and over here first we will select this table or text, and then we will use this name, right? And then we'll close the bracket, and you can see that very easily we have able to get true or false. So let's see whether it's working properly or not. So the first one is false, and then Kevin is true because it have similar name, and also we have Darren true and Allison West as true. Let's copy this part and let's paste it and see whether it works properly or not. And you can see that through this way very easily we can find duplicate values or duplicate name on an Excel sheet. Hope you have understood how you can get exact formula on your Excel. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about Vlookup function in Excel. So as you can see, we have a table over here, and over here, when we select a code, it should give us the result. So let's first create a list. So for that, we will go to this ribbon, data and data validation. Then we will select data tool. Over here, we will select the list and the source. So the source is all of these values are the source, and we will hit OK. And now we will have our data that we can use. So now over here, let's go and select the first data. And then we have this name option. So over here, we will use the Vlookup system. Let's select the Vlookup and the lookup value, which is this code number. And then we will select the table array. So for the table array, let me select all of the table and press F4 to lock it. And then we will select the column, which is 1 and 2. And then we will give a comma, and we want to find the exact match. We want to find the exact match. Let's give 0 and close it. And you can see that very easily we have got the name for 352 as mark. Now we want to find their area. So let's write Vlookup and the lookup value. Then we will select the table. So let's go and select all of the table. Let's press F4 to lock the table, and then the column, which is 1, 2, 3. 3 is the column. Then we want exact match 0, and let's hit OK. And you can see that we have able to find the area as well. So now let's see when we change it to 75, which is Kelvin, areas and the name have been also changed. So through this way, very easily you can find Vlookup function on your Excel sheet. I will give you this sheet so that you can place all of the salary, and then you can find your salary through this Vlookup function. Hope you will do that, and see you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we will learn about Vlookup with exact match. So Vlookup is a vertical lookup system, as you already know. So now we will find out how we can get the exact match through Vlookup. So here we have product name. So what I want to do is I want to bring this product name over here as a list. So for doing that, let's go to the ribbon and then let's create a list. Let's go and create a list. And after creating the list, we will be using the source, which is this list, right? And after that, let's hit OK. And now you can see that we have able to create the list. So now, as we will create the list over here, I want to select that list and find the code, product code. So how can we do that? For doing that, we have to use Vlookup. Vlookup. Let's select Vlookup and then lookup value. So the lookup value is right now is our product name, then the table array. So let's select the whole table, and I will select this as vlist, and then I will be looking for the table array or column index, which is product code 1, 2, which will be 2, and then I want to find the exact match. Exact match is 0, and then close the bracket. And now you can see that for speaker we have RA002. So if I select the laptop, it will be 001. So now similar way, I want to find the stock. For that, let's write Vlookup. I will select the Vlookup value, and then I will select the table array as vlist. Then I will look for the stock 1 2 3, then 0, right? And now you can see that there is a stock for laptop. So if we go for router, I believe there will be no stock, right? Now we will find the price. So finding price is also similar. We look up value with our router or the product name, and then the table. Let's select the table, and then we will add the value as 4 and then 0, right? And very easily you can create an exact match form through this Vlookup with exact match, and hope this will be useful for your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about Vlookup with trim. So as you can see over here, we have the first table, and here is the product name. So as we always do, let's give Vlookup and let's figure out the price for the laptop. So here is the laptop, then the table array. Let's select the table, fix the table by a 4, and then the column for price is 1 2 3 4, and then we want exact match for 0. Let's hit enter, and you can see that we have an error inside this box. Why is that? It is because our value need to be exactly like the same. It is case sensitive. So as you can see over here, the laptop, and over here the laptop, there is a space which have been counted as space holder. So now how can we fix that? What we can do, we can write trim function inside over here, and we can log that option on which we want to trim, right? And hit enter, and you can see very easily we have able to create a trim function on our price. So as you can see that our number have been shifted to left, but before it was on the right hand side. Why is that? It's because it have considered it as array. So let's plus 0, and you can see that it have been used as a normal price segment right now. So over here, what happens when we have space in our speaker, and over here we don't have any space, right? So let's try it. We look up and the lookup value, then the table array we have. Let's select the table array, press F4, and then give 4 exact match. Even here you can see that we have issues. So if I use the trim inside that, which we have done last time, still it's error. Why it's error? Because the value which we have issue is the speaker, not the table, right? So for doing that, what we can do, we have to write the trim option for the speaker. So for that, we look up, then let's write trim, and the text is this one, close the bracket, and then use the table, then the column index, which is 4 and 0. So now, as we have put the trim inside this speaker, you can see the result. It will come appropriately, right? But if I drag it down, it will be false because this portion is right. Over here, we have to place this formula. So through this way, very easily we can create or use our Vlookup trim function to our Excel sheet and figure out how we can trim them properly. So see you on the next lesson, where we will be learning more about Vlookups. On this lesson, we are going to learn about VLOOKUP approximate match. So what is approximate match? So as you can see over on the table, we have the salary, position and bonus. And here is the name. So those who are getting a salary of 157, how much bonus they will get? So how can we calculate that? So let's do it. On VLOOKUP, let's go and select VLOOKUP and the lookup value, which is salary, and then we will select the table. So we are selecting the table for the salary and the bonus, so that's why we are selecting this whole table. And after that, we have to log this, and then we will be looking for the range or the column index, which is bonus, as 3, and then we will select this approximate match, which is important. So after that, let's close the bracket, and you can see that whoever have earned 157 got 7%, right? So over here, when we just drag it down, you can see that all of the percentage which it is connected will be shown to our approximate match. Hope you have understood how to use this approximate match. See you on the next lesson. So on this lesson, we are going to learn about Hlookup formula. So as you can see that we have our table over here. So as we have already discussed before, Hlookup is a horizontal lookup system. So over here, you can see that name is over here and their area, cells and the months are on the columns. So how can we figure that out and bring that result? For that, we are using Hlookup. So for that, we are using Hlookup. So let's write Hlookup, and after Hlookup, we will look for the lookup value. The lookup value is January, and then we will select the table. So let's select the table, and after clicking F4, we can log that up, and then we will look for the row index number. So the row index number would be, so now we will select the row index number. So for that, this is row 1 and this is row 2. So we are looking for Mark Melvin. So I'll press 1 and then give a comma, and then we want the exact match, and then we will be closing it. And over here, you can see that we have able to get January. So if I make it 2, we will find the month of January. Mark Melvin have got that. So over here, it is row 2, 1 and 2. So after that, if we just drag it down, you can see we have able to get the February month's result over here. So let's see about Ramon Caffin. So Hlookup, and then lookup value is January, and then the table array, let's select the table and press F4, give a comma. Row index, it is 1 2 3, it would be 3, and we will select exact match, right? And you can see that Raymond, we got 265. Let's just drag it down. Over here, we have used the formula. Let's just copy it and let's paste it over here. But on this 3, this is Theodore, we will use 4. And you can see on 4, we have 245 on January month. So through this way, very easily we can create Hlookup formula on our Excel sheet. Hope you have understood how you can do that. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about Hlookup with match function. So how can we use Hlookup with match function, right? So for doing that, we have to find the Hlookup first. So to understand that, as we have know how we can use Hlookup, let's try it over here. Hlookup, and the lookup value is Calvin, and then we are using the table array. So let's select the table and press F4, and after pressing the F4, we have to select the row index number, which is July. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 will be our row index number, and we will select the range as 0 and close the bracket. And you can see that July, Calvin have got 40,000 over on June, right? So now if I change it to June, it doesn't change anything. And even if we change it to somebody else, Ali's son West, it is changing, but it is changing and it is showing the number, but I want to make it more versatile. So whenever I change the month, it will change the figure. Also, it will change through the name. So for doing that, let's go over here and write Hlookup. Hlookup, lookup value. Our lookup value is F4. And then we will select the table array and fix the table array. Then we will select the row index, which is January. So it will be 1, 2. It will be 2. And then we will select the range as 0. Close the bracket. We have able to find the Lucia Hub first January month, 41,000. And if we change it over here, nothing is changing, but we can change that as well. So how we can change that? As you can see over here, we have the row index number, which is 2. We can easily set them through this match function. So let's use match function. So over here, let's go match lookup value. Our lookup value is the month and then the lookup array. So which one will be our lookup array? Yes, this will be our lookup array. And let's fix it and give a comma and 0. And you can see that January's lookup array is 2. So let's change it to July. And its lookup value is 8. So let's go and copy this up. And let's go over here. And on this, you have this 2, which is row index number. We will be pasting it over there. And after pasting it, let's hit OK. And over here now, it's coming 37 on July. Let's change it as Jan. And you can see that the arrow is changing. And also this number is also been changing. So let's change the name once. Let's use Calvin, right? Let's use Calvin. And then let's use June. And you can see that we are able to find the exact value of the Hlookup or from the table. So through this way, very easily you can use Hlookup with match function and use it on your Excel file. See you on the next lesson. On this lesson, we are going to learn about Xlookup all function. So over here, we will learn about Xlookup basic. So over here, you can see we have ID and the cell. So first, let's go and do what we have learned. Vlookup. What is Xlookup? It's much more advanced than Vlookup and Hlookup. So over here, we will go for lookup value. Then we will select the table array. Let's select the table array, fix it. And then we will use column indexing. So the cell is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And then we will use 0, exact match, and close the bracket. And we have no value because we haven't used any ID. So let me go and copy this ID over here. And you can see that for 101, we have 43 cell. If we change it to 2, we will have 52, right? So now, what is the difference? Then why we are using Hlookup? So if I place it 110, and you can see that we have an error which says value not available. So if we want to use, you have to use other formula inside this formula, right? But on Xlookup, it is very simple. So let's go and try Xlookup. And then we will use lookup value, then lookup array. So the lookup array is this portion right here, and then the return array, I want to find the cell. This is the return array we have. And then if not found, I will show not in list. And then I will close the bracket. So over here we have no information, so it's not in list. Let's copy it and paste it over here. It will also say that we have nothing on the list. So let's use 07, and you can see very easily we have able to find the sales of 107, which is 67, right? So now we want to find the name, or we want to find it through name. So we will do exactly like the same Xlookup, and then the lookup value, and then we want to find the lookup array, which is this name option, and then the return array, which I want is cells. Then if not found, then it will show insert name, right? And then give a comma, and we want exact match, and then let's close the bracket, and it says insert name. So let me insert the name of laptop, and you can see for laptop we have 43 cells. So through this way, very easily we can use Xlookup, which is an upgraded function on our Excel sheet that will be helping us, or somebody who is not Excel expert, he can use this option to find its data that he is looking for. So hope you have understood how you can use Xlookup formula on your Excel sheet. See you on the next lesson.